Welcome to 10 Minute Mystery. Take a moment to like and subscribe, and let me know of any mysteries you'd like me to cover.
Disclaimer: the subject matter can sometimes be triggering or graphic. The information given is in my own words, and I will speculate my theories. Sources for photos and info that I used will be linked in the description box below.
Viewer discretion advised. Now, let's get into it. The mystery of the Supermodel secret agent. Have you ever heard of Candy Jones? Have you ever heard of the Project MK Ultra? Today's story will give a glimpse into both and tell you how an American model may have become a CIA spy. Candy Jones, born Jessica Arlene Wilcox in 1925, was an American fashion model, writer, and radio talk show host. In the 1940s and 50s, she would be a renowned model and pinup girl. Afterwards, she would write several books and start a modeling school for aspiring models. In 1972, Candy would marry a controversial radio show host named Long John Nebel. His show was known for outlandish programs and hoaxes. Jones herself would become the co-host of his show on the WMCA radio. The show would cover paranormal, UFO, and conspiracy theory claims. Shortly after the marriage, Jones would exhibit peculiar behavior, including mood swings and seemingly personality shifts. Her husband would call this the voice, a look, a few moments of bitchiness. The swings would happen quickly and drastically. Jones was reportedly going from normal behavior to erratic, angry behavior and personality shifts instantaneously. Concerned for his wife, Nebel would start hypnotizing Candy Jones and would supposedly uncover an alternate personality named Arlene. While being under hypnosis, Jones would recall an elaborate story of how the CIA trained her in a mind control program. She would say these trainings would take place in West Coast colleges and universities. There would end up being hundreds of hours of recordings between Nebel and Jones, as Nebel recorded all of these hypnosis sessions. Jones would continue to recount conscious memories of being part of a program training in mind control. She would say it began in 1960 when an old friend of hers at a USO show asked her to use her modeling school's address to send some mail, which she kindly obliged. This would end up with Jones's encounter with the same doctor from 20 years prior that had treated her in the Philippines. This time she would meet the doctor in California. They offered her an amazing amount of money to continue on with their vague plans. Candy would agree, as she desperately needed the money for her school. So soon she would be partaking in these mind control training programs. Eventually, during her hypnosis, a second personality would emerge under the name Arlene. Arlene would state she was being groomed by the doctors in order to keep Candy from knowing what Arlene was doing. Candy would recount a couple of instances where she would attend USO shows and have no memory of what she was doing there or have attending the USO show at all. A passport would also be found showing Candy Jones in a dark wig, but it was under the name Arlene Grant. Candy did not remember taking this photo or ever wearing a dark wig. As Jones and Nebel would tell people about the stories, they would run into some issues, because John was known for his pranks and hoax stories. So for the longest time, no one believed Candy's stories. That was until Project MK Ultra came to light in the 1970s. Although she hadn't fully convinced everyone, the reveal of MK Ultra made her stories gain more interest and evidentiary support. MK Ultra was revealed to be a CIA program in which they gave experimental drugs to test subjects in order to control their minds and make them do things the subject was unaware of, in order to make secret spies. Documentation supports the use of drugs during interrogations and for psychological torture and brainwashing. Seems to me that Candy Jones may have been telling the truth. Candy would pass away in 1990 from cancer at the age of 64, so we may never know the truth of the Candy Jones espionage allegations. That was my 10-minute mystery on Candy Jones, the supermodel secret agent. Do you believe Candy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for another 10-minute mystery.